What's up, bro? Welcome to another episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau. And like always on all podcast platforms, BrandonJaneauShow, as well as our YouTube channel, BrandonJaneauShow, and also streaming social media platforms, BrandonJaneauShow. That's Instagram, TikTok, all social media platform threads. Yeah. Tonight is Wrestling Life, WWE Payback rate and review show. But before I get into all the matches, my rating for them, how I feel about the matches, what I thought of them, I want to start it off by since technically I never did one. Um, talk about the late great Bray Wyatt. Man, when that happened, you know, literally, but last Thursday now. Damn. Yeah, when it happened last Thursday when we got the news, everybody when it broke that he passed. Just like everyone, man, I was uh hurt. I damn near cried. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause it was that hit. You know, the man was full of potential, and you knew it. In the little time that he had the chance to be the guy, WWE clearly couldn't. I really wish I would have saw what he could have been in the Triple H era. He didn't get a real chance to be in the Triple H era. He came back. Next month would be a whole year that he came back to WWE. Like, yeah, when he came back at Extreme Rules, I think it was what, October of last year. Um, yeah, so he didn't even get a chance to like fully enjoy his second run. I mean, he came back at Extreme Rules last year. I remember just talking about it last year on that Extreme Rules rate and review show. I talked about it, how excited I was to see him back. How I thought he shouldn't get into the title match with Roman Reigns because I thought they should build him up a little bit more. Um, but you could tell that he was one of the rare few that when you first saw him, you knew he was different. When it came to wrestling, man, he called himself the new face of fear. Um, I remember working at the airport here in Houston, and we used to talk about this all the time. Who should have beaten um, Undertaker and took the streak? Some people said, well, it should have been Roman. Some people said probably should have been Set. You know, yeah, it was the right call to put Brock there, but most of us all agreed that it was Bray Wyatt that should have beat the Undertaker and took the streak because it would have made sense. And because you want to create the new face of fear, he has a record that easily could have been his. I get it that he lost to John Cena at WrestleMania 30, but it would have been way more important if Bray would have beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 31 or WrestleMania 30, which you should have had. Then he takes on John Cena at WrestleMania 31, which would have been perfect because then he would have beat the streak, and then he would have took on the legacy of John Cena instead of John Cena losing to John Cena and then losing to the Undertaker in two fucking straight WrestleManias, which I still don't understand how that shit happened, but WWE. What can I say? I was a fan of Bray with the Wyatt family. I became a super fan when he was the Fiend. Like, I'm gonna be honest, man. I was a massive fan of the Fiend. I hated the fact that when he first debuted it, after fighting Finn Balor, they immediately put him in the Universal title match against Seth Rollins, which I thought was the dumbest shit ever. And clearly was a bad call because it could have you could have built that rivalry up better. In excuse me, I know Seth at that time didn't really have anyone to really fight him because Raw just didn't have anyone. But Bray was not a bad guy. That's what they try to deem him as the heel, but he was not a bad guy. People loved him. And I think you just rushed that shit too fast. And I think that it should have never happened at that time. But all in all, he gets the title at Crown Jewel. He goes to SmackDown and has some of the best actually rivalries on SmackDown. If you actually watched him versus Daniel Bryan before Daniel Bryan really left the company, that was the best damn rivalry they had at that time before the pandemic. That was the best rivalry they had. That match at the Royal Rumble in 2020, one of the best. Like the strap match was fucking incredible. Um, even they I don't know how you fuck up a Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt match at Survivor Series, but they did that in 2019. They fucked it up. I have no idea, but they did it at the Royal Rumble 2020. It was an incredible match. Um, one of the matches I wish I would have saw in person. Um, Throughout his time, man, Bray was different. You know, like I said, one of my favorites, um, because the man was creative. In a world where everybody has dirt sheets and everybody could just easily uh, say what was gonna happen on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, or any of these pay-per-views, he found a way to make wrestling interesting. He found a way, and that is something that you cannot take from that man. That's why it hit so hard for wrestling fans last week when he passed, because it wasn't just like we lost a wrestler, we lost somebody that challenged the norm of what wrestling was. Um, Especially, in this era where, like I said, where everything is so easily on the internet. But he was very calculated. He was very gifted. He was gifted at creating characters that stood out. The Wyatt family, which is still one of the greatest factions in WWE. Um, and it's crazy to think that they didn't even have a chance to have all four members fully there a lot. Like because Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, Braun Strowman, and Bray, it wasn't even there. I would have loved to see what the hell the Y6 would have been because the rumors were true that it was supposed to be a mixture of like Alexa Bliss and his brother Bo Dallas and Eric Young, and then he was gonna like bring in some other people. It would have been amazing to see what it would have been because I know he would have created something that was going to last the test of time. So um, it sucks that he passed um, so suddenly, man. It just came out of fucking nowhere. Uh, you hear about his health problems. You know, at the end of the Royal Rumble, you hear that he's got health problems. He's been dealing with stuff from COVID, and you're like, okay, and and then cause I watch YouTube, I watch all the wrestling podcasts and all this stuff. So when you hear that Bray is coming back and he's in a good position with his health and everything, a week ago, literally like a week prior to him passing, it was like I was watching Wrestling Talk, and it was like Bray Wyatt should be back soon. They say he's doing good. They say his health is improving. He should be back soon. And then literally a week later, you hear this man is gone. So yeah, that fucked us up. That fucked me up. Yes, that day, I had to keep myself from crying, because that shit really did fuck me up a little bit. Cause I'm like, God damn, man, like how did that happen? Like come on, man. But man, for Bray, man, thank you. Like I've been posting ever since he's passed. Thank you. Because without you, man, them late 20, them 2013, like 2012, 2013, 2014 years, 2015 years, shit, we wouldn't have survived them. Let's be real, and especially in that pandemic. Oh my God, we probably would have never survived 2018 to 2020 wrestling because let's be real, they had nothing. Like they had absolutely nothing. Um, Especially that pandemic. Oh my God, it was terrible. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about the Fiend and Randy Orton feud that much during that pandemic, but that was one of the best feuds during that whole pandemic. So yeah, man. But thank you, Bray Wyatt, for being a creative mind that you was, man. Thinking outside the box with the wrestling, and just giving us endless characters, the Wyatt family, to the Fiend, to the Eater of Worlds, to the new face of fear, man. Thank you, and rest in peace, man. Thank you. Let's get into it, man. So, like I said, today is it was just the payback, pay per view, WWE's Payback rating review show. Um, I know I do wrestling life, and I mainly do WWE because I'm not like a lot of these other wrestling podcasts that look at every damn thing. I'm not that. I'm not gonna even sit here and act like I am. I've said when some stuff comes up, like AEW stuff today, I would address it if I did feel some type of way about it. Um, and I feel fucked up that I gotta even address it because this is a WWE night, and I really want to just show love to them. Uh, but if it wasn't about CM Punk, I probably wouldn't talk about it because I wouldn't really give a fuck. But CM Punk gets fired by AEW today. Um, how do I feel about it, man? I see people saying this is the dumbest thing AEW's ever done. Um, I truly feel like, man, AEW um was fucked regardless. If they would have fired him as they did today, or they would have kept him, they were fucked. There was no way out of this situation, and it was going to be a good situation. Yes, the elite is back. You re-signed them, but at the end of the day, if you would have kept CM Punk, that shit was never going to work. Period. It was going to come to a head eventually. So it doesn't matter that CM Punk is fired. Now a lot of people are saying out here saying that AEW is fucked. CM Punk is gone. What are you gonna do? He's the highest selling, merch guy. He's the one that brings in all the people, all of this shit. What is AEW? Well, AEW goes back to what AEW's always been, a very high profile TNA. I've said this shit. I've downgraded it from WCW to TNA. At least Impact is still alive. I don't see AEW staying alive for too much longer because as great as their matches are, as great as they do to some of y'all, and I'm not one of these. I'm a WWE flag toting guy. No, 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 no. But this is why I kept thinking like people that wanted to create a rivalry between these two companies. You can't create a rivalry between a company that has been established for 30, 40, fucking 50 years, some shit like that. Like to a fucking company that literally lost its co-founder, Cody Rhodes, and he went back to WWE. And now you're just sitting there with three guys in the elite that some of us probably have never heard of. If you didn't watch New Japan, if you haven't watched Ring of Honor, you haven't seen all these wrestlers, you haven't seen Kenny Omega, or you never seen the Young Bucks, you never seen Adam Page, you probably don't give a shit. So as much as and I love AEW's matches, I think AEW could do incredible jobs. I think they have an amazing star in MJF. They have so many great talent over there. The problem with that shit is that you're letting the fucking talent run the asylum, and eventually it's going to turn into what CM Punk turned the shit into, a fucking like a fucking entire crazy ass Mad Max scene. Like it's just gonna go crazy. CM Punk didn't do shit except show you what AEW is. It's not WWE. It will never be WWE. I don't give a shit how many times y'all want to run out here and scream AEW did the biggest wrestling event of all time in London. I don't give a fuck about that shit. To be honest with you, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, the politics of the AEW is always going to get in the way. Tony Khan don't know how to run a fucking company. That's why he's letting wrestlers help him run a company. As much as you hate Vince, Vince never let wrestlers run the fucking company. Here's the thing: even Triple H has stepped away from the wrestling ring, and now he's just the head of creative, and he is running the company. Excuse me, but I'd rather Triple H run a company that has put his ego to the side than to have motherfuckers that are still wrestling running the fucking company. That is the dumbest shit ever. When the fuck have you ever seen an active wrestler run a company for wrestlers? Think about that shit. Why the fuck did the Elite win the Trios titles the first time that the Trios titles were even a thing? They come off a suspension and win the titles. Come the fuck on. What are we doing here? I'm not trying to shit on AEW because I don't even watch the shit. But again, if you're gonna have these situations pop up where wrestling fans like me have to speak on it, and listen, like I've always said, CM Punk is one of my favorite wrestlers, but he's been a fucking cancer. I don't know why the fuck people were so excited about CM Punk going to AEW. I was happy that he was just back in wrestling, but anybody could have told you how this shit was gonna end. If you didn't get the clear picture last year, how the fuck you missed it this year? The fact that CM Punk is fired, and I know a lot of people are mad, and a lot of people are saying some crazy shit. AEW's done, and fuck this shit. AEW might have just saved their company, and I'll tell you why. Because CM Punk is not that guy no more. I know what you're gonna say. I know what I'm gonna see in comments. CM Punk still that dude. What I mean by that is he's not worth the fucking headache anymore. We're talking 2012 CM Punk. Oh hell yeah, you ride that shit and you don't give a fuck. You let that shit go. Hey man, listen. I don't give a fuck. But this is 2023 CM Punk. This is not 2012 CM Punk. This is not the summer of CM Punk. This is a completely different CM Punk. He's been out of wrestling for 7 years. He comes back for 2 years and fucks up the entire company that he just was in. And I am a CM Punk fan. I've been a CM Punk fan since he was in ECW. I thought he should have won the ECW championship. Um, the actually, yeah, the night that like the night we heard about Chris Benoit passing, people forget that CM Punk is the one that replaced him in that title match against John Morrison in that ECW championship match. I thought he should have won then. I thought he should have won that title then. It took him years to get the ECW championship, and even then, Vince didn't see that guy. So to me, I'm a huge CM Punk fan. But he was a terrible fucking person to be at AEW, period. I don't give a fuck how much y'all love this man. I can see it on the Raw, and I don't even watch the fucking company. I knew if I hear the news of CM Punk fucking up, that's a crazy situation on hand. CM Punk should just go and chill. Like, listen, man, I know you on this new show, Hills, on Stars, you and your wife. Thank you for what you have created in wrestling. I appreciate you 100%. But you're going to destroy companies. You do not have that ability to fuck up and still profit from it. I know a lot of people are mad at Tony Khan, but here's the thing, man. Like I've always said about AEW, it's just a very high profile TNA. It's not even WCW anymore. At least WCW made competition. This is just TNA. It's a very high profile TNA. TNA did the same shit AEW do. Bring in international stars because they need to. They did all that shit. I remember TNA when I was a kid. TNA was just as competitive. TNA had some of the best matches. When TNA was at its high rise, boy, TNA was smoking WWE in wrestling matches. Smoking them. Sometimes even in promos. But tell me what's the difference between AEW and TNA? What's the difference? A bunch of no-name stars getting a shot, taking over, right? You go get old talent from a place like that. You go get old talent from WWE, bring them into the company, and then you don't have your backstage shit fixed because you don't know who the fuck should run it. What's the fucking difference? All in all, man, AEW did the right thing. They fired CM Punk. That was a smart thing to do. I know some of y'all gonna get mad, some of y'all are pissed, but let's be real. Did you really think CM Punk was coming back to that fucking company after what the fuck he did last week? After what he did a year ago? Come on. They're fucked tomorrow, though, by the way. Their pay per view tomorrow is going to be so fucking crazy. They got to put on so many great matches that people just forget. But here's the problem with that: you don't have that many matches because you put all your fucking stock into the pay per view last Sunday. So now you really are fucked because now you have a crowd that's already against you because you're on a fire, literally the hometown hero. You got a crowd that's already against you. You don't really have the caliber of matches to even compete, to even get the crowd to sway on your side. If any of these matches are somewhat near bad, they're booing you the fuck out the building. This is kind of as much as I believe AEW kind of did save their company. They also fucked their company because I think this is the end of AEW as we're about to see it. So now we can get to what happened tonight, which is the Payback rate and review show, man. Like I said, WWE Payback just ended just a moment ago. Y'all know how I do my rate and review show. I go from my least favorite match to my most favorite match of the night. Um, um, I rate it 1 star to 5 stars, and if I got a couple 5 star matches, which I do tonight, I will boost up. I will talk about my least favorite 5 star match to my most favorite 5 star match tonight. So let's get it. So kicking it off, my least favorite match of the night, and I gave it 2.5 stars. Was Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship. I okay. I know people are gonna automatically be like, Brandon, you hate Austin Theory. I do not hate Austin Theory. I just don't think he's ready for the caliber of WWE. Like that caliber of WWE, he's not ready. Here's my thing. I think if Grayson Waller was in that match, it'd be a way better match and it might be more competitive. This was so stupid. I just, it was boring. It was so fucking boring. The first match between these two was good because the pace was fast. This was a terrible match because Austin Theory actually thrives in quick pace matches. So I don't know why the fuck you made him feel like he was supposed to methodically beat Rey Mysterio down. It was the dumbest shit ever. I didn't understand the psychology between this shit. Like the best matches for Austin Theory is actually fast paced matches. The fact of the matter is, you put him in a match with Rey Mysterio and try to make him be the bigger man, and it's like this the stupidest shit. I didn't understand it. It was a bad match. It was slow pace, which is a very bad match for Rey Mysterio because Rey Mysterio does not Ray cannot be in slow paced matches. That is not a good idea. They didn't have Austin Theory, who's really not that good at slow paced matches either. This shit was just a terrible fucking match. It just didn't make any sense. I get it. I get why Triple H had to pretty much put this match on a card because you can't keep relying on the Intercontinental Championship to be the match of the night because that shit clearly would be the match of the fucking night. If Chad Gable versus Gunther was the match on this card and not this one, it will be way better. And I get why he also did it because let's be real, this was a raw fucking pay per view. Let's be 100% real for a second. This was a raw pay per view. Outside of this match and literally LA Knight just being on this show, this was all raw. So I get why you did it, but at the same time, you should have never done it. Like this should have just been on SmackDown. You could have easily put this in SmackDown. It would have been a great SmackDown match. It probably would have been better on SmackDown. Yeah, I would have complained about it, but at least it would have been better on SmackDown instead of making me watch this shit on Peacock for money. Like this was a terrible match. It was so fucking slow. I gave it 2.5 stars because Ray won. That was pretty much it. It was terrible. It was a bad match. I get people that love Austin Theory. I don't know why. But yeah. Um, him beating John Cena, I've never seen somebody beat a legend like John Cena, and their careers go absolutely nowhere after that shit. His career has gone absolutely nowhere after this. I'm happy they didn't give the title back to him because that would have been a Vince fucking move, which you take the title off him a couple of weeks ago and then you put the title back on him for no reason at all. Now, hopefully, Ray can now move on and go into another match and have another real quality rivalry, maybe with Santo Escobar, maybe with Grayson Waller. I don't fucking know. Maybe it's true, and maybe they really do put Solo Sikoa in the U.S. Championship conversation and let him beat Ray. I don't fucking know how this all goes, but at the end of the day, like I've been saying, I'm gonna continue to say this: Austin Theory needs to go back to NXT. I've said this about Dominic Mysterio, but Dominic actually has worked in WWE because he actually works as a good heel in Judgment Day. The crowd loves everybody except him. That works. Austin Theory is just by himself. He doesn't have a character. He doesn't have anything that's good about him in on the main roster. If he goes back to NXT, He could easily become a rival for Carmelo Hayes. It would actually be presentable, and you could actually develop Austin Theory's character in NXT and stop trying to make him a developable character on the main roster. He doesn't have anything on the main roster that we give a fuck about. Put him in NXT, have him rival against Carmelo Hayes. He could beat Carmelo Hayes. He could beat a champion. He could move into another stratosphere in NXT like you did with Mandy Rose. Put him back in NXT and let his ass thrive there. Instead, you keep pushing him in front of these people. Some of people are gonna like him because he's young. Some people are gonna and you're gonna probably be like me, where you see the talent, you just don't fucking feel it. Like John Cena said, we can like you just are not the guy. Like we can see bullshit, we can see bootleg, we can see what you're trying to do, but we don't connect to you, and we don't. I don't connect to him. So if you're, yeah, I noticed that it would have been easy if Gunther and Chad Gable was on his card and not have to talk about this dude. I'm not trying to hate on this dude. I just think he needs to go back to NXT. I think if he goes back to NXT, he can easily rebuild his career in NXT. But him on the main roster right now, he's fucking floundering because in the next couple of months, guess what he's going to be? In a tag team with Grayson Waller. And Grayson Waller is going to be bigger than him in the next couple of months. So why fucking prolong the inevitable? Just put his ass in NXT, have him fight Carmelo Hayes. We'll be on another level. Great. Why the fuck are we prolonging this? I have no fucking idea. But anyway, this is my least favorite match of the night. All right. My second least favorite match of the night. I hate to say it like that, but my second least favorite match of the night. I gave it 3 stars, and that is the Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez WWE Championship, WWE Women's Railway Championship match. Yeah, I get it 3 stars. I think Rhea works better with smaller competitors. Like this was just literally it got better at the end, but that was because Raquel Rodriguez finally became like what she needed to be. You trying to compare strength with Rhea Ripley, I don't give a shit about. I don't care. I know you guys are strong. I don't care about that. I wish this match would have been more like the NXT matches where the two of them would just go at it. Instead, this shit was kind of like a standard first meetup in the main roster. Let's just try to not fuck up each other. Like it just played into nothing. It was supposed to play into their strengths. It played into nothing. It was a terrible. It just didn't connect. Like I said, at the end it kind of heated up, and that's why I gave it 3 stars because at the end this would have been literally 2.5 stars too. But at the end it kind of heated up. Raquel Rodriguez finally, like I said, started to kind of show what she can be. They need to give her being a baby face is not gonna work. They need to turn her heel. I'm getting to the point now. You gotta turn her heel because this shit is not gonna work. Maybe that'll bring out her aggression side because her doing the back shit is just getting annoying. Um, I just want her to go into a heel role. And if you had heel versus heel, this probably would have worked better because then she would have been just handcuffed, like no handcuffs. She would have been free to just go. But this heel persona shit she's in is fucking terrible. Like I said, it got better at the end, but it was supposed to go the way it went. Rhea Ripley was supposed to beat her. I don't know what happens at Fastlane, to be honest with you. There's so many possibilities. They could run this back, or they could even give it. They could put. I don't think Rhea versus Trish is a good idea. I don't even think Becky versus Rhea is a good idea right now. I know that's probably what they're gonna run into, but I don't think that's a good idea. I actually think Zoe Stark should get a chance at Rhea Ripley first. I think if you're gonna build a character, you should push her first. Um, if you're gonna do it the right way, and that is probably put the money match, and that is Becky versus Rhea at WrestleMania, then you need to build it the right way. Don't give us the Becky versus Rhea match right out the gate. Like let's prolong this shit. And you can have Trish and Rhea fight at Royal Rumble. Don't have them fight right immediately. That's why I say they probably run this back. Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea at Fastlane, but I don't think they're gonna fight anytime soon, especially not on a pay per view. I can see um, I can see Io Sky versus Charlotte next month. Then I can see this again, and that's just how I think about it. That's what I feel about that shit. So I thought it was 3 stars. I didn't really have too much to really say about it. Like I said, it got better at the end, but that's because Raquel Rodriguez finally stopped trying to like go one on one with her with strength and just did it. That's what it was. It was like she finally just like fuck it. I just do what she does, and she started like swinging Rhea Ripley. That's what the fuck you should have did at the beginning. It should have just went straight full. We know each other already. We didn't got to do this test of strength shit. Let's just get into it. It took forever. It took too long to get into it. Raquel also missed a couple of spots. It just was yeah. It was just it wasn't good. It wasn't a good match. It just wasn't good. Yeah. I gave it 3 stars. Um Third on the list for me. I gave it 4 stars. Close 4.5, but 4 stars. Um was LA Knight versus The Miz. Special guest referee John Cena. I gave it 4 stars, man. I gave it 4.5, but I rounded down to 4 stars. Um, you could tell this was a Triple H pay per view because he let these two men actually go out there and fight. Like this would have been a short to the precise end. It would have been quick as hell if this was Vince. It'd be 5 minutes. Shit really wouldn't have made any sense. It would have not prolonged the story. It would have made no sense. Um, I said this last night. I was like, why is John Cena not giving LA Knight pretty much the John Cena like you got a kid? Like, why is he not giving him that? And it made sense. He waited to tonight to do it. Yeah, I thought this was a good match, man. I thought it was actually better than what I thought a lot of people would think. It wasn't just the match; it was the presentation of the match. I think both men being really good at the mic. Going into the promo last night, doing their promo last night, what the Miz did Monday night, what LA Knight did the Friday night before that, all of it, it just all worked out perfectly. Then they have John Cena be the special guest referee. By the way, was the slowest counts I've ever seen in my life. Like it was some of the slowest counts I've ever seen in my life. But I get it. It was like the big, like you like everybody says, you got to have the big swing of the arm when you know it's a 3 count. He kind of just it was too much. It was just too much. I just didn't understand that. But yeah, it was a good match. I thought it was a really good match. The Miz got some offense in, which was supposed to happen. LA Knight got his offense in. LA Knight won, which was the perfect. It was supposed to happen that way. I don't know what they're gonna do with LA Knight now. To be honest with you, I don't know if you put him in the U.S. Championship match against Ray and let him beat Ray and take the U.S. title. I don't know what you do, but I do know this. This was actually better than what I thought people would expect. It was a match that I thought he needed to have, which is a one-on-one actually quality match. As much as people could shit on the Miz, which if you're a real wrestling fan, you know how hard the Miz has worked and became a real worker, man. Like he's actually a really good fucking wrestler. I know you will hate that shit, but he's actually a really good wrestler. And what he did was actually give LA Knight a match that we kind of needed them to have. This match combined with the Finn Balor win a couple of nights ago on Friday night, which a lot of people don't talk about a lot, but that was a massive fucking win for LA Knight. That was a big fucking win. You beat Finn Balor, the first ever Universal Champion. You beat him. 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the motherfucking ring. I know people are gonna say, well, that was a Bray Wyatt tribute match, and can you really, give him that? But yes, that is actually still a win that is massive for him. I actually thought that was a bigger win than this match tonight. But because especially if you take into account Finn Balor coming off of fighting Seth Rollins for the last two World Heavyweight Championship matches, on top of the fact that he's in one of the biggest factions right now in Judgment Day, and he beat him clean. Add to the fact that he beat the Miz tonight. So, and then of course John Cena again, like I said, raising his arm at the end, and them two shaking hands, and pretty much him giving LA Knight the endorsement. That's massive. So yeah, 4 stars. I give LA Knight and the Miz 4 stars. I thought it was a really good match, all in all. So yeah. Um. So I have 3 5-star matches tonight. Um. And I'm gonna get into it right now. My first 5-star match is Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the World Heavyweight Championship match. All in all, it's a technical match, man. It was a really good match. Shinsuke and Seth played until what the match was centered around, which was his back. It was centered around his back. I know a lot of people would say this was a very slow match. It wasn't really nothing they could really get into. But if you actually know the psychology between these two men, they're pretty great at what the fuck they do, and that is prolong a match and make the shit actually good. This was actually the best Shinsuke match I think he's ever had in WWE since NXT. Like since he's been on the main roster, this might be the best uh, Shinsuke match he's had in WWE since being on the main roster. And that's AJ Styles. That's so many matches. Like this made me actually think Shinsuke should win a title soon. Like he should be WWE champion. Hell, I thought he should actually go and fight Gunther and take the belt from him. Like I was like, this is the Shinsuke I've been waiting to see. This was actually the Shinsuke we actually thought he should be. Like it took a minute, but this is what Shinsuke should have been the whole time. This is the reverse of what Asuka was. When Asuka went back to Japan and became Asuka, the Japan Asuka, and they came back, and Shinsuke is literally what the fuck WWE needed him to be. He reversed it to that tonight. I thought it was the best match. And then you're in the ring with Seth Rollins, and Seth played this perfectly. He did it perfect. I know a lot of people say this was a very slow, methodical pace. It wasn't what we wanted, but this was exactly what it needed to be. It was the match that, like I said, Seth played into they played into what the match was supposed to be and what it was always centered around, his back. So it played perfectly into it. So yeah, man, I gave it 5 stars. Thought it was a really great match. Um, Here we go. Here we fucking go. I gave one match. I gave it 4.5 stars, but then as I watched it and rewatched everybody on clips and everything, I had to give it a 5 star, man. And that is the first match of the night, which was Becky versus Trish, in the steel cage match. I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 4.5 at the beginning. Now I'm like, you know what, man, I'm gonna give it 5 because it really was actually a really good fucking match. Um, Now we can shut the fuck up about why Triple H took them over SummerSlam because they let their ass go. Man, was this a good match. Becky and Trish, like, was the rivalry a little bit too long? Of course it fucking was. Super fucking long. It shouldn't have been this fucking long. But if we're gonna get a match like this, thank you. Like if it's gonna be a match like this, thank you. I'll take it. Um, all in all, man, both women went out there and did exactly what it was supposed to be, man. They took a lot of risk, man. That suplex off the cage, that Becky gave to Trish, was crazy. Um, a lot of fucking moves off the cage, like um, you know, uh, Trish doing the Stratisfaction off the fucking cage, like shit like that. Like it was a lot of fucking things that these two were doing to each other. Callbacks to the first women's steel cage match when Trish hit uh Widow's Peak on Becky. Becky hit the Twist of Fate on Trish, which was Victoria and Lita in the first women's steel cage match ever. Um, Zoe Stark was gonna get involved somehow, some way, which kind of dampened it a little bit for me, but it kind of played into what the match was. Um, all in all, this was a hell of a match, man. I thought it was really great. It was what it was supposed to be. I think, like I said, I get why Triple H took it off the SummerSlam match now, SummerSlam card now, because this was actually what it was supposed to be. It was a great match, closed out the rivalry perfectly. Becky won, which was supposed to happen. I'm not ready to see her versus Rhea. I don't think it need to happen right now. We could hold off on this match. Please hold off on this match. Um, but yeah, it was a great match, man. And now I don't know what they're gonna do with Trish. Maybe she goes into the rivalry with Zoe Stark. I actually didn't like the fact that they actually broke them up. I think that it should have actually they should have went into right into a tag team title match opportunity because I don't see any tag team women. You can't be breaking up every fucking tag team you get together, especially in the women division. That's stupid. But yeah. Oh no, it was a great match. But my match of the night was clearly the Steel City Street Fight Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Damian Priest. This is actually, if I give it 10 stars, I give it 10 stars. This shit was incredible. Like this shit was amazing. Um, I knew Judgment Day was gonna beat him. I knew it Monday. I knew they were gonna beat him Monday. Not surprised at all that they beat him. You can hear Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn pretty much. Kevin Owens particularly say he feels like he hasn't given the WWE Tag Team titles its proper respect since him and Sammy won them. The storyline really hasn't fit. It doesn't, you know. But all in all, I thought this was supposed to be the match. I thought it fucking was great. You have two teams that fucking can go. It fucking worked. I get that you had to have the interference, but what really played into this match was what it's always been. Judgment Day just has some fucking numbers. You have, you know, Dirty Dom, which is clearly like everybody knows is gonna get his ass whooped by them, regardless of how it's gonna go. Kevin Owens is actually bleeding in this fucking match. I was like, holy shit, Kevin Owens bleeding. Holy shit. Like it made it feel like holy shit, this is a really good match. The Swan Time bomb off the fucking out the crowd, like to Owens to Dominic Mysterio was fucking amazing. Rhea Ripley spearing fucking Kevin Owens through a barricade, which was incredible. Like what the fuck? And then JD McDonough coming out and saving the match for the Judgment Day, and then getting literally he didn't even pop the power bomb. He got literally spiked on the fucking table. He didn't pop the power bomb. Then he just throw him up and fucking just slammed him into the table. Like he didn't even get power bomb. Uh, all in all, it was a great match. Like I said, the odds played against them, and that is what's supposed to fucking happen. If you're gonna play this team, if you're gonna play them as the new bloodline, they should have all the titles. That's what's fucking supposed to happen. I thought it was a pretty good idea. Um, like I said, I thought they were gonna lose. I thought Sammy and Kevin were gonna lose. I do think they're gonna get the titles back at some point because eventually it's going to break up. Damian Priest and Finn Balor are going to break up. Um, do I think JD Madonna now is a part of the Judgment Day? Yeah, I think Monday you're gonna see them finally try like him trying to finally get himself into Judgment Day, and that's what's also gonna cost him the tag team title. So I think that it's all for it all. But all in all, that was the best match of the night. I thought it was a fucking crazy ass match. Most of these matches was pretty fucking decent. I mean, like I said, two matches I didn't really love that much was Austin and Ray or the Rhea and Raquel. But if you speed up the pace in both of these matches, or you put Raquel in a position where she didn't have to play the good guy and had to play by the rules and just do what the fuck she's supposed to have done, both of these matches would have been great. But all in all, that's what I thought of Payback, man. Also, clearly, Cody Rhodes being a part of the Grayson Wilder effect and announcing Jey Uso is coming to Monday Night Raw, which I'm looking super forward to. I don't know what you would do with Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw, to be honest with you. That could be the next rivalry for Cody Rhodes. It could be the next rivalry for Seth Rollins. I don't fucking know what you do with Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw, but he's back. And by the way, I need people to understand something. Did you not see what happened on SmackDown last night? Jimmy Uso has a new theme song, but he's still kind of like Bloodline. Whereas for Jey Uso, he comes out to the same theme song, kinda. It's just me, Us. And it's just him saying it's just me now. It's my time. So him being on Raw, kind of like Ray leaving, Raw because he didn't want to deal with the Judgment Day anymore. And he went to SmackDown. Same thing with Jay going to Raw now. I want to see how this is going to look. I really want to see. But also, like I said, the color. If you look at Jimmy Uso last night on SmackDown, he's still Bloodline. You still see the making of it. It's still black and red. It's still Bloodline. Whereas for Jey Uso, if you look at his when he came out, it's blue, which is like clear skies. Like what I'm saying, like heaven and hell, pretty much, right? So it's pretty cool to see that, man. But Jey Uso's part of Raw now. All in all, how do I feel about Payback? This whole Payback event. It was good. I thought it was actually a really good B show. A B show. And I thought it was a really good show. All in all. Speaking of that, tonight, which is probably already out. I don't know what time it is. It might be 11 o'clock. I don't really know, but tonight will be my top 10 nine Big Four matches from pay per view events. So this was a pretty good pay per view. Oh no, I thought it was a really good match, man. It was a really good pay per view. I hope you guys enjoy this when it comes out. It'll be out tomorrow night, Monday. So hope you guys enjoy this. Until then, well, Sunday, I should say Sunday night. But until then, man, I am Brandon Janeau. This has been the Wrestling Life Payback review show. Hope you guys enjoyed the pay per view like I did. If not, go watch it on Peacock. Um, excuse me. And one more time before I leave, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. Thank you for everything, man. Until then, till next time, Fastlane is the next pay per view, October 7th, I think they said. So October 7th, I'll see you guys for Fastlane. Till then, I am Brandon. Peace.